Chapter 39, Part B, the Jesus Trilogy, Book 2, Then There Were Two. When the four horsemen were introduced as part of the offense's starting 11, the four were surprised at the rather loud ovation. Indeed, the people of Jerusalem remembered Nazareth High's victory over Jerusalem East some 14 months earlier. The four expected to be booed, if anything. The cheers from nearly all brought Jesus to tears. He suspected some of the tears were coming from the pain in his left shoulder, which was beginning to tighten up. He hoped it would not get so bad it would cause him to miss passes. It would embarrass him, but more importantly hurt the image of the four horsemen. He had talked to the coach of the All-Star team about whether he should even play. If the coach said he would give it a try. If it didn't work, they would put in Jesus' backup. Judas was more than a little nervous about his left ankle. It never healed completely from the ankle fracture he sustained in the championship game 14 months ago. It didn't bother him much from day to day as he wasn't into much manual labor. But after the pregame workout, it became mildly swollen and a little sore. Johnny was also nervous as he had to go up against Simon, now a world champion, something he, Johnny, wanted more than anything. Lefty was the only one of the four not feeling any pressure. His left arm was feeling great, loosey-goosey as he called it. Rather Dorian did. After all, he would soon be king of all this, the whole city. Through the new and improved 6 points, he would be the Messiah and lay claim to all he could see today. Then he would use his momentum and eventually overthrow Rome itself. The new Caesar, Uz had said, half in jest, but they both knew there was a chance it might come true. The All-Star team won the toss and elected to receive from the horseman kicker, Jan. The kick sailed high and deep. It was carried by a light breeze down to the back of the end zone, but Simon caught it and ran it out anyway, despite his teammates and the coaches urging him to down the ball. Simon had something to prove this day, and he was going to do it or die trying. He had a Super Bowl ring, but he did not have a high school championship. Though that goal was no longer attainable, he vowed to prove this day that the loss in his final high school game against the Nazareth High Knights was a fluke and would be avenged this day. It would be erased from his memory. He headed straight up the field, working with weights and lifting. And a fitness coach, he had become not only stronger but faster and far more agile. He knocked down two tacklers at the 30-yard line, cut to his left, and sailed into the clear. Finally, the kicker, Jan, ran him out of bounds on the horseman, 31. Unfortunately, there was a flag back upfield. It had been deemed by the referee that Simon's back foot had touched the back of the end zone as he fielded the ball. The officials had a big discussion. Initially, the All-Stars were awarded a safety, but after further consultation, they settled on calling it a touchback. The ball was placed on the All-Star 20-yard line. "No problem," said Simon in the huddle. On the sidelines, the cheerleaders chanted, "Simon says, Simon says." Simon loved the attention, but hated it when little kids wanting his autograph would come up to him and ask him to write "Simon says" on their programs. The quarterback of the All-Stars was Terry, also a member of the championship Arrows team. He promptly called Simon's number 5 in the huddle, and Simon did not disappoint. Simon took Terrio's hand off and swept around the left end. He then cut back inside the outside backer, juked the safety, and was gone 80 yards. The PAT was good. All-Stars 7, Horsemen nothing. The Simon Says cheerleaders went wild, and the crowd also sent up deafening cheers. The ensuing kickoff was to Judas' left. He could not get over to field it, and it bounced into the end zone. The horsemen now had the ball in their own 20, and they huddled. Judas whined, "Not this again." But Lefty quieted him. "Focus, boys. We can do this again. X7 on 3. Jesus was number 7. The pass was right at him, but just as the ball arrived, the defender shoved Jesus, driving his helmet into Jesus' already sore left shoulder. Jesus wanted to scream in pain, but he bit his tongue and went back into the huddle. That was clearly interference, Johnny said. Yeah, but they're going to call it pretty loose, you know, Jesus said. How's your shoulder, cuz? Johnny asked. Jesus wanted to say it was killing him, but he mustered and it'll be okay. Hang in there, Lefty said. We'll get you the ball when you're wide open and can catch it one-handed. Thanks, Jesus said. 34-I. Johnny followed Judas' block and got 9 yards. On the next play, Judas swept to the right, but the defense bottled him up and he only gained a half yard. Official measurement confirmed 4th down. The 4th down punt sailed high into the sunny afternoon sky and carried out of bounds 35 yards downfield. The All-Stars had the ball 1st and 10 at their own 36. Let's do it again, Terrio said. He handed the ball to Simon. The swift back swept to the left and cut upfield. He flared outside the slow backer. The wideout pulled in the cornerback toward the center of the field, and Simon once again had clear sailing. The safety was no match for Simon's swivel hips, and the All-Star back was gone again. Fortunately for the Horsemen, a holding penalty brought the ball back. 1st and 20 on the 26. But unfortunately for the Horsemen, Terrio called the exact same play, and again the result was the same. Simon roared out wide, the corner got sucked in again, and Simon took off. The safety fell for Simon's juke again at the 10-yard line, and Simon cruised into the end zone backwards. He celebrated with his patented Simon Says dance that ended with a power salute. The cheerleaders raced out and kissed him all over. The partisan crowd went nutso. For good measure, the All-Stars went for the 2-point conversion and were successful. Judas, now a well-to-do senator, had put a 100,000 shekel bet on this game. The bet was not against the spread of 11 points, but was on his Horsemen to win the game. If the Horsemen won outright, Judas stood to win a cool 400,000 shekels. If the Horsemen did not win, it would be a very long day. Judas had money, but would have to borrow some from Ching if he lost this game, that is, this bet. So the Horsemen were now down 15-0 with only 8 of the 60 minutes gone in this contest.